The Rich Rabbit.
Dior is one of the most talked brands in the fashion industry. Showering its magic since 1947, the brand was founded by designer Christian Dior. The French fashion house is famous for its elegance and timeless femininity. A leading company that has remained at the top of fashion's hierarchy for over 70 years, Dior's unique look has influenced the world of fashion since the very beginning. Innovative but traditional, Dior maintains its reputation as creator of recognized haute couture. From their ready-to-wear fashion, leather goods, accessories, or footwear, Dior changed the game forever. To this day, the brand is all around us in some way, shape, or form, even if we don't know it. Christian Dior established the fashion house in December 1946 at 30 Avenue Montaigne in Paris. Dior's first collection was launched on February 12th for spring-summer 1947 at the company's headquarters. An instant success, Harper Bazaar's editor-in-chief Carmel strongly believed in Dior's talent. "It's quite a revolution, dear Christian. Your dresses have such a new look," she exclaimed. Thus, the new look became a trademark. Introducing unique silhouettes consisting of shorter, fuller skirts, tighter waists, and accentuated busts, Dior's pieces were revolutionary, especially in the 40s. The brand continued to flourish, and by the mid-1950s, the House of Dior was a highly respected fashion empire. Dior dressed countless celebrities including Marlene Dietrich, Ava Gardner, and members of the royal family. Upon the tragic death of Christian Dior in 1957, 21-year-old Yves Saint Laurent took the creative reins of the acclaimed fashion house. Saint Laurent kept Christian Dior's legacy alive by using the same fabrics, keeping the proportions and silhouettes relatively similar. However, Saint Laurent's collections featured pieces that were softer, lighter, and easier to wear. His designs became more daring due to his success at the fashion house until 1960, when his Bohemian collection was harshly criticized. Saint Laurent was called up to join the French army, thus forcing him to leave Maison Dior, which raised no objection with the Dior management. Following the departure of Yves Saint Laurent, Marc Bohan was appointed creative head in the late 60s. Instilling a more conservative style, he was credited as the man who kept the Dior label at the forefront of fashion, while still producing wearable, elegant clothes, and Women's Wear Daily claimed that Bohan rescued the firm. In 1967, Bohan's assistant Philippe Gibourgy launched the brand's first French ready-to-wear collection called Miss Dior. In 1989, Italian-born Gianfranco Ferré replaced Bohan as head designer. As the first non-French designer to take the creative reins at Dior, Ferré left behind the traditional Dior aesthetic. With a reputation for feminine, romantic silhouettes, Ferré introduced a new style concept described as refined, sober, and strict. As head of haute couture, haute furore, women's ready-to-wear furs, and women's accessories collections, Ferré was awarded the Dé d'Or. Commonly known as the Golden Dice, the Dé d'Or was awarded twice a year in France to haute couture designers from 1976 to 1990. By 1990, Dior boutiques were opened in upscale New York City, Los Angeles, and Tokyo shopping districts. That year, Dior's revenue was $129 million with a net income of $22 million. And by 1995, the label's revenue rose to a whopping $177 million with a net income of $27 million. Also in 1995, Bernadette Chirac, wife of former French President Jacques Chirac, contacted Christian Dior explaining that she wished to give the Princess of Wales a unique handbag upon her visit to Paris. The Maison created a structured black bag unofficially named the Chouchou. Shortly after, the bag was seen on the arm of the princess during her visit to a children's home in Birmingham. Described as iconic and legendary, Dior launched the bag in a larger series and changed the name to the Lady Dior in 1996 with Princess Diana's blessing. 200,000 models were sold in 2 years, and thus Dior's leather goods turnover massively increased. The Lady Dior bag features padded canage leather inspired by the Napoleon III chairs Christian Dior once used to welcome clients on the day of his first show in 1947. With its structured silhouette and sturdy top handles, the Lady Dior also features the letters D-I-O-R on charm pendants as an eternal signature. Each Lady Dior is crafted by hand. Commencing with manual cutting out of the leathers, the pieces are then assembled and molded around a wooden form. Finally, it is meticulously sewn together. In total, there are 140 distinct pieces that are necessary in the process of creating a Lady Dior, hence the luxurious and sumptuous quality. Over the years, several celebrities have been the face of Lady Dior, including Carla Bruni, Diana Kruger, Monica Bellucci, and Marion Cotillard. To this day, the Lady Dior remains an iconic piece for the brand. Under the influence of Anna Wintour, editor-in-chief of Vogue, Dior appointed John Galliano as creative director in 1997, replacing Gianfranco Ferré. The choice of British designer sparked some controversy as once again a non-Frenchman held the creative reins. However, Galliano was compared to Christian Dior himself by Dior's chairman Bernard Arnault, noting that Galliano has a creative talent very close to that of Dior himself. He has the same extraordinary mixture of romanticism, feminism, and modernity that symbolize Monsieur Dior. In all of his creations, his suits, his dresses, one finds similarities to the Dior style. Galliano's collections were somewhat controversial, which evoked further interest in the brand, including the homeless show that featured models dressed in newspapers and paper bags and the S&M show. In 1999, Galliano released Dior's Spring-Summer 2000 ready-to-wear collection, which debuted the brand's iconic saddle bag. So much so that it is considered that Galliano revolutionized Dior more through his provocative advertising campaigns than through his actual designs. In July 2000, Hedi Slimane succeeded Patrick Lavoie as lead designer for Dior Homme. Although the menswear line was originally founded in 1970 by Marc Bohan, it was nowhere near as successful as the women's wear line, and the boutique was eventually shut down. Slimane revamped Dior Homme, giving it a modern, masculine aesthetic. Soon, the label had gained prominent male clientele when Brad Pitt and Mick Jagger were seen wearing it. In 2002, Slimane was awarded the International Designer of the Year award by the CFDA. Chris Van Ash was appointed the new creative director of Dior Homme in 2007 after the departure of Hedi Slimane. By 2011, chaos struck the House of Dior when several accusations were made against John Galliano for making anti-Semitic remarks. The label found itself in a public relations nightmare. Galliano was naturally fired in March, just before the debut of his Fall-Winter 2011 collection, which commenced without him. Bill Gayton was appointed as the head designer upon the scandalous departure of Galliano, despite the remaining absence of the artistic director position. Gayton had previously worked under Galliano for both Dior and the John Galliano label. His first collection for Dior received mostly negative reviews. However, in January, Gaëtan presented his second haute couture collection, which was much better received. Finally, it was announced on April 11, 2012, that Raf Simons was appointed as the new artistic director of Dior. Acclaimed for his minimalist designs, sharp silhouettes, and effortlessly chic aesthetic, Simons was an interesting choice, as his work greatly contrasted Galliano's eccentric and flamboyant style. In the hopes of moving forward from the embarrassment Galliano brought to the Dior name, the company was more than eager to go in a new direction. Slimane familiarized himself with haute couture as the designer had no previous experience in this field and spent much time in the Dior archives. Hedi Slimane presented his first collection for Dior on July 2nd, the Fall-Winter 2012 haute couture line. It simply thrived. Named the new couture by the company, Slimane was the breath of fresh air Dior so desperately needed. His work made more reference to Mr. Dior than to the House of Dior, with pieces inspired by Dior's post-World War II designs. In 2016, it was announced that Maria Grazia Chiuri would succeed Hedi Slimane as artistic director. A huge leap for the French fashion house, as Maria is the first woman to ever hold the position of AD. Of course, heritage is important, but I want to move this house further, explained Grazia Chiuri when discussing her new position. Dior stands for femininity, but the idea of that is still steeped in the 50s. Femininity isn't something that finished in the 50s, it can be more contemporary, she continued. And so it could. Grazia Chiuri transformed Maison Dior by reinventing it to suit the modern-day woman. Although she stayed true to Dior's roots, she redefined what it means to be feminine. By adding a masculine touch, she illustrated that elegance could now go hand in hand with edginess. Her first collection was for Spring-Summer 2017, a line featuring contrasting fabrics that included tulle, lace and velvet, while pieces were embellished with flower motifs and ruffles. The fairy-esque collection was enchanting and beloved by fashion lovers and critics across the globe. Maria's Dior has since produced many notable pieces, including the Jour handbag line, basic tees with "We should all be feminists" prominently printed across it, and a new Dior logo. Although time continues to progress and changes in the fashion industry are always occurring, Dior continues to produce beautiful, timeless pieces that remain innovative and very original. Truly a brand with a fascinating backstory, Dior remains one of the most prominent and important fashion houses of our time. Don't forget to check our channel for other interesting videos related to other top brands. If you like our videos, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon.